People laugh when I say we live with a deer. Some think I'm joking, others think I've lost my mind. But when I tell them about Goroshok, about the little soul who changed our lives, they stop smiling. They listen, because this isn't just about a deer. It's about what happens when you choose love over logic, compassion over convenience, and family over fear. My name is Vitalina, and this is the story of how one injured, trembling fawn found his way not only into our home, but into our hearts. We live near the forest, where the edge of the trees meets the back of our garden. It's quiet, peaceful. You hear birds more than cars. One afternoon, we were walking the trail behind our property, my husband, the kids, and I, when we spotted him. Just a tiny bundle of legs and ears lying motionless in the grass. I thought he was gone, but then his ear flicked, ever so slightly. He was the smallest fawn I'd ever seen, barely able to lift his head. No mother nearby, no signs of other deer. We waited, hoping she would come back. But dusk turned into night, and the forest stayed silent. We knew enough about deer to understand how rare it is for a mother to abandon her baby. Something had happened. She wasn't coming back. So we brought him home. The kids named him Goroshok, Little P, because he was so small he could fit curled up in my daughter's blanket. At first, he was terrified. Every sound made him flinch. Every movement sent him scrambling. But we were gentle. We were patient. We set up a quiet corner in the kitchen and laid soft towels and blankets down. Every 2 hours, we fed him goat milk from a bottle, warming it carefully each time, trying to mimic the rhythm of a mother deer's care. Those early days were delicate. He was weak, underweight, and clearly in pain from an injury to his front leg. I barely slept. I'd sit next to him on the floor in the middle of the night, just watching his chest rise and fall. He'd curl his head toward my lap, and sometimes I'd cry, not because I was tired, but because I was afraid he wouldn't make it. But every morning he opened his eyes, and every day he grew just a little stronger. We researched everything: how deer grow, what they eat, how to handle them without making them too dependent on humans. We talked to a wildlife vet, did everything by the book. But in the end, I think it was the love that kept him alive. Goroshok didn't just survive. He began to thrive. He learned our routines. He followed the children everywhere, his tiny hooves clicking against the floor like a curious little visitor. When they played hide and seek, he would gently nudge close at doors with his nose, trying to find them. If they ran through the hallway, he'd bounce behind them like a puppy, legs still unsteady but determination shining in his eyes. And then came the day he waited by the door. He stood there, just looking at it. When I opened it, he stepped outside slowly, blinking into the sun. He wandered into the garden, sniffed the tomatoes, and then turned to look at me like, "Is this okay?" I nodded. He walked into the grass and lay down, just like that. Every day, he grew braver. We slowly introduced him to the other animals on the property: our old shepherd, the chickens, the rabbits. There was never fear, just curiosity. Goroshok had the gentlest soul I've ever known in an animal. He'd walk up to the dog, sniff, and then just lay down beside him, like they were old friends who'd met again after years apart. But we always knew this might not last forever. Our property backs directly into the forest. We thought, maybe one day he'll go. One night he'll leave and not come back. We were ready for that. But he didn't leave. He came back. Every night. Even now, months later, Goroshok waits by the back door around sunset. Sometimes he taps it with his nose. Sometimes he just waits patiently until someone notices. And when we open it, he walks in like he's come home from work, checks the rooms, greets the kids, and then curls up near the radiator. We never caged him, never leashed him. We simply let him choose. And he chose us. People often ask why we didn't turn him over to a sanctuary or release him. The answer is simple: because we did everything we could to give him a life where he could choose, and he chose to stay. That's a kind of trust I don't take lightly. This experience has changed us. My children have learned more about empathy and responsibility in these months than any classroom could have taught them. My husband, once cautious, now leans down each night to stroke Goroshok's ears and whisper, "Good boy." And me, I look at him and feel something sacred, an understanding between two creatures who needed each other more than they realized. If this story speaks to you, if it warms your heart the way Goroshok warmed ours, I ask you to do one thing: share it. Let more people see what's possible when we open our hearts to the unexpected. And if you're able, support your local wildlife rescue or animal sanctuary. There are so many animals out there like Goroshok, fragile, forgotten, full of life just waiting to be given a chance. Every donation, every act of kindness, creates ripples. Goroshok is proof of that. Proof that love, real love, doesn't care if you have feathers or fur, hooves or hands. He isn't just a deer, he's family. And our family is better because of him.